If I had a nickel for every time one of the Bengals' best players requested a trade this offseason, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's a little weird it's happened twice, as now Trey Hendrickson joins T. Higgins as some of the Bengals' star players who have requested a trade from the organization as they have been unable to get the type of contract they want from Cincinnati. A lot more on this to come and what comes next, of course, on today's video. But when Bengals news happens, we have you covered. I said on our mock draft today, hey, you're not going to see too much of me this weekend. Stone Shields, our newest hire and soon-to-be full-time Bengals Breakdown host, and maybe some Allie Barefoot will have you guys covered throughout the draft so we get you the videos that you guys deserve. Well, we got one more left in me. Bengals and the Trey Hendrickson situation worthy of not going home as planned and breaking down this news for you. So hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Plus, we'll have great draft coverage for you right here on the channel. So info from Adam Schefter breaking, depending on when you're watching this within an hour. Bengals 3-time Pro Bowl defensive end Trey Hendrickson has requested to be traded from Cincinnati per league sources, i.e. Hendrickson's camp. Hendrickson is due to make $15 million this season and is looking for more long-term security than Cincinnati has been willing to offer. He has 2 years left on his contract, and I think in many ways this is highly similar to the T. Higgins trade request. Player wants a big deal. Bengals and the player not all that close to where things currently sit. Player probably knows the Bengals are not going to grant this. I would be surprised if in the next 72-ish hours the Bengals actually trade Trey Hendrickson. He's too good, he's too important, and this team is too focused on winning now to make that trade. But that doesn't mean it's a good thing to have, I would argue, your best defensive player, second best, third best, or everyone to rank him, saying, I would like to be traded on the eve of the NFL draft. The timing, make no mistake, is not an accident. So will the Bengals end up trading Trey Hendrickson? Y for yes, N for no. It will be today's pinned comment. If that ad comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. Again, the timing is not accidental here. It's no different than when T. Higgins on the morning of free agency says, I want to be traded. They're trying to maximize their leverage. When the entire NFL world is paying attention, they request a trade. They know what's going on there. What they're hoping is that some other team makes such an insane offer, the Bengals say, you know what, yep, let's do it. Someone offered a first. No one's offering a first, by the way. Just not going to happen. This is trying to maximize what, frankly, little leverage the player has in these negotiations. It's not a status or standpoint where the player is that close to free agency, where he's in a position to force his way out. It's just not what it's doing. He's trying to get paid. Remember there was the kind of bridge deal last year where Henderson got $21 million added. Well, now he wants it again, which I kind of find a little bit interesting. He got that extra year last season. He played really well again this year, but he's not making that much relative to other players. So the details here, the way the contract breaks down. 2024, he's due $15 million in cash while carrying a $20 million cap hit on the Bengals roster, and they could save a pretty good amount of that if they were to trade him. In 2025, he's due $16 million in cash and has an $18.67 million cap hit. Then becomes a free agent. 2 years, $31 million isn't a lot of money for a player to have left, and a player of Hendrickson's caliber. So I get why he is looking to cash in. And it's the same reason why the Bengals are a bit hesitant. He's entering his age 30 season. That's older, and typically older than when the Bengals like to pay players. That's why you have the trade request, because player understandably wants to get paid. Team might not be able to guarantee the type of money that he wants. I get all of that. Maybe there's not a right or wrong answer as to who's to blame here, or who's at fault, or who should cave, but that's why you get to where we're at. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. If you are now anxious about Trey Hendrickson, I get it. You shouldn't be anxious, though, when it comes to buying tickets for your next big event. Sports, music, comedy, theater, you name it. Prices tend to drop as the event gets closer. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets and use Game Time instead. You can buy tickets in seconds with a simple 2 taps, and all-in prices, by the way. Show your total up front so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. They've got deals and tickets right up to the start of the event. Even an hour after it starts might be beneficial if you're trying to catch an evening Reds game, a 6:40 pitch and you're coming in late from work or whatever. The Game Time guarantee means you'll also always get the best price. Simple. You get 5 tickets for same section row for less. Game's going to credit you 110% of that difference. So download the Game Time app at gametime.co, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, the lowest price, all guaranteed. The big focal point, of course, is, okay, well, now what do the Bengals do? Does this mean that a pass rusher at 18 is back on the menu? I don't know. In large, and I would lean towards no, because I don't think Henderson gets dealt, would be my guess. Also, to be fair, Hubbard coming off an ankle surgery. You spent the first-round pick on Myles Murphy last year. And this is exactly why you did that, to eventually take over from Trey Hendrickson. You have to give the first-round pick a chance. Otherwise, what's the point of what the Bengals cannot do is be this team that says, hey, we're going to draft for next year. We're going to draft guys like Charlie Jones in the third to eventually replace T. Higgins. We're going to draft guys like Daxton Hill to eventually replace Jesse Bates. Myles Murphy to take over as a starter. And then suddenly go, oh, actually, we don't trust them. You have to give them a chance. You can't be missing on all of those picks in the same way maybe you missed on Daxton Hill. This would be prime time for Myles Murphy to show why he was a consensus first-round pick across the board. Everyone thought he was going to go round 1. People were surprised he was there for Cincinnati. You spent a third-round pick on Joseph Ossai. I don't think you draft a first-rounder just because you might not have Hendrickson down the road. You kind of knew that was going to be the case, right? Draft somebody, sure. And it's also why you don't trade Hendrickson either, because he's been so good for you. He has consistently been a pass rusher that gets pressures, gets sacks, gets production. You kind of need him out there. And it's why you're open to extending him. With all these other big deals you have to do, you kind of should have interest, because it also allows you to bring down his cap hit and lower the money you owe on the salary cap, which isn't how the Bengals operate, and that's a crux of the issue that we've had conversations about. If they're not going to do the backloaded contracts, this is what happens. You don't have the same actual cash available relative to your salary cap that other teams do. So what is the most that you would pay Trey Hendrickson on a new contract? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section of today's video. Just some final wrap-up thoughts here. Like, how much does he want? That's what we don't know. And I think the guaranteed money's the big stickler, because he's probably looking at $50 million guaranteed, even like a 3 or 4 year deal. All right? Like, that gets him into the $25 million per year range. And that's not that crazy relative to what other pass rush guys are getting. So, in the end, my suspicion here is that maybe much like T. Higgins, this is the last ride for Hendrickson. He will, skip OTAs, skip workouts, maybe skip mandatory minicamp, probably not, who knows. Maybe do the hold-in thing, show up, ball out, and then it's decision time. Because next year is the final year of his deal. And depending on how things go, maybe you pay him, maybe you don't. But maybe much like T. Higgins, for this core of Cincinnati, maybe this is their last run. Maybe this is the last year Henderson's here. Last year, B.J. Hill is here. Last year, Mike Hilton is here. Last year, T. Higgins is here. Last year, Alex Kappa / Ted Karras is here. For a lot of these veterans, this might be it for them, whether by trade, release, or hitting free agency. That's why I think they don't trade him. They're trying to win the Super Bowl, not trade away their best players.